Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Brother and sister, welcome back to Islamic Notes channel. Today we will discuss something that really attracts the world's attention. A fact that may not be widely known, but is being widely discussed, especially among Muslims. Before we get into the main discussion, don't forget to press the like button as a form of your support for this channel. If you have an opinion or interesting experience related to Islam in America, please write it in the comments column. And of course, don't forget to subscribe and turn on the notification bell so you don't miss the next interesting videos. Let's start the story. Los Angeles, or often abbreviated as LA, is a city that has been synonymous with Hollywood, blockbuster movies, and a giant entertainment industry. But behind the glitz of this city, there is a community that has grown rapidly in recent decades, the Muslim community. Initially, Islam was known as a minority religion in Los Angeles, practiced only by a handful of immigrants from the Middle East, Africa, and South Asia. But over time, the number of Muslims in this city has continued to grow significantly. Mosques have begun to appear, halal restaurants are increasingly easy to find, and even Muslim culture has begun to influence social life in this city. The question is, how did this phenomenon happen? What caused more and more people in Los Angeles to be interested in Islam? Before we continue to discuss it further, let's take a moment to write Allahumma sholli ala Muhammad in the comments column as a form of our love for the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And don't forget to write also where you are from, so we can know who is watching this video and from which areas our community comes from. Los Angeles, or often abbreviated as LA, is a city that has been known as the center of the world's entertainment industry. But in the midst of the glitz of this city, there is a community that has grown rapidly in recent decades, the Muslim community. The existence of Islam in Los Angeles is not a hallucination, but its rapid growth in recent years is undeniable. Islam first entered Los Angeles through Muslim immigrants who came from all over the world in the early 20th century. The Muslim community in this city was still very small and not very visible. There were no mosques, no Muslim community centers, and even finding halal food could be a challenge. But over time, the number of Muslims in Los Angeles continued to grow, driven by various factors ranging from immigration, conversion of local residents, to increasing public awareness of Islam. In 1952, the Islamic Center of Southern California, ICSC, was established as one of the first Islamic centers in Los Angeles. This mosque is not only a place of worship, but also a center for social and educational activities for Muslims in the city. Over time, more and more Muslim communities have established new mosques, built Islamic schools, and created various organizations aimed at strengthening the Muslim network in Los Angeles. Not only immigrants from the Middle East and South Asia are part of this community, but also African Americans and Latinos who are starting to be interested in Islamic teachings and choose to embrace this religion. The Los Angeles Islamic movement is significant. Initially, the Muslim community was only centered in certain areas, but now mosques and Islamic centers can be found in various districts of the city. The number of Muslims living in Los Angeles has now reached hundreds of thousands, and this number continues to increase along with increasing immigration and the growing number of local converts to Islam. One of the main factors contributing to this growth is high immigration from Muslim-populated countries such as Pakistan, Iran, Egypt, Somalia, and Indonesia. In addition to immigration, another factor driving the development of Islam in Los Angeles is the conversion of local residents. Islam is increasingly attracting the attention of American society, especially because its teachings provide inner peace and a more orderly life in the midst of modern life, which is fast-paced and full of pressure. Many people are looking for a more meaningful life. Islam, with its teachings emphasizing balance between the world and the hereafter, is becoming a source of spiritual peace. Many who are interested in the development of Islam in Los Angeles are Native Americans, including Latinos and African Americans. Many of them initially had no direct connection to Islam, but then found an interest in the teachings of this religion after studying it more deeply. Some of them converted to Islam after reading the Quran and felt that the contents of this holy book were very relevant to their lives. Some were inspired by the Muslim community they met in their work environment, school, or their surroundings. In addition, the role of social media and the internet cannot be ignored in introducing Islam to the wider community. Many converts admit that they first learned about Islam through YouTube videos, online discussions, or even content from Muslim influencers who actively share Islamic teachings in an interesting and easy-to-understand way. Along with the increasing number of Muslims in Los Angeles, mosques and Islamic community centers are starting to appear in various corners of the city. If in the past Muslims in Los Angeles had to travel far just to perform congregational prayers or attend Islamic studies, now they have many choices of places of worship that are closer to where they live. Some of the famous large mosques in Los Angeles include the Islamic Center of Southern California, ICSC, Umar ibn al-Khattab Mosque, Bilal Mosque, and many others. In addition to being a place of worship, these mosques also function as centers of education and social activities for the Muslim community. Many mosques hold Arabic language classes, Quranic interpretation studies, and social programs such as food assistance for those in need. The existence of these mosques not only strengthens the Muslim community, but also helps introduce Islam to non-Muslims in Los Angeles. With the increasing number of Muslims living in Los Angeles, the influence of Islam is starting to be felt in various aspects of daily life in the city. One example is the increasing number of restaurants and supermarkets that provide halal food. In the past, finding halal food in Los Angeles could be a challenge, but now many restaurants offer halal menus, both Middle Eastern, Indian, and Pakistani food. Even fast food like burgers and pizza. Some big restaurant chains have even obtained halal certification to attract Muslim customers. Besides in the culinary field, the influence of Islam is also seen in the world of fashion. Now more and more shops and designers in Los Angeles are offering clothes that are in accordance with the principles of dressing in Islam, such as hijabs and shari clothing that remains fashionable. Even at big fashion events like Los Angeles Fashion Week, Muslim fashion designers have begun to appear who display clothing collections that follow Islamic law but remain stylish and modern. Not only that, Islam is also starting to get a place in social and political discussions in Los Angeles. Many Muslim figures are active in various social and political organizations, fighting for minority rights and playing a role in building good relations between the Muslim community and other communities. One example is the increasing number of Muslims involved in local government and becoming representatives of the community in various official forms. The existence of this increasingly strong Muslim community shows that Islam is not just a minority religion in Los Angeles, but also part of the city's identity, which continues to grow. Even though it still faces various challenges, Muslims in Los Angeles continue to try to introduce Islam as a religion that brings peace, prosperity, and harmony to all. If we go back a few decades ago, the celebration of Islamic holidays in Los Angeles may have only been celebrated simply by a small Muslim community in mosques or in their community centers. But as the Muslim population in the city grows, celebrations such as Eid al-Fitr and Eid al-Adha are becoming bigger and more widely known. Moments on Islamic holy days, we can see thousands of Muslims gathering in open fields, in city parks, in stadiums to perform joint Eid prayers. This event is not only attended by Muslims, but also attracts the attention of non-Muslims who want to learn more about Islam and Muslim culture. Even in some schools and universities in Los Angeles, holidays are now starting to be calculated into the academic calendar as a form of respect for the growing Muslim community. Some companies are also starting to provide leave policies for Muslim employees so that they can celebrate their big days with their families. This phenomenon shows how Islam is increasingly accepted as part of the cultural diversity in Los Angeles. Since celebration of Eid al-Fitr and Eid al-Adha, the holy month of Ramadan is increasingly felt in the city. Many restaurants offer sahur and breaking fast menus, while mosques hold various activities such as joint iftar studies and congregational Tarawih prayers, attended by thousands of worshippers every night. Even Islamic preaching events in Los Angeles now often attract the attention of not only the Muslim community, but also those who want to learn more about Islam. One example is Open Mosque Day, an initiative where mosques in Los Angeles open their doors to the public, giving non-Muslims the opportunity to ask questions directly about Islam to local imams and Muslim figures. With the increasing popularity of these Islamic celebrations, we can see how this religion is no longer just a small community in Los Angeles, but has become part of the city's social identity. As a world-class entertainment center, Los Angeles is home to many famous actors, musicians, and athletes. But in recent years, we have begun to see more and more public figures openly identifying themselves as Muslims and not hesitating to show their Islamic identity in public. Some Hollywood celebrities, such as Mahershala Ali, Ice Cube, and Chef, are among those who have found peace in Islam and do not hesitate to speak about their beliefs. Not only in the world of film, but the influence of Islam is also increasingly visible in the world of music and sports. Many Muslim athletes, such as NBA star Kyrie Irving and UFC fighter Khabib Nurmagomedov, openly show their faith and are an inspiration to many young Muslims in America. They often upload their prayers on social media, talking about the importance of performing the 5 daily prayers and showing how Islam teaches discipline and dedication in their lives as professionals in their respective fields. In addition, the fashion industry is also beginning to feel the influence of Islam, which is getting stronger. Several Muslim fashion designers are now starting to get a stage in international fashion events, including at Los Angeles Fashion Week. They present a collection of Muslim fashion that remains fashionable but still in accordance with the principles of modesty in Islam. This shows that Islam is not only about faith, but also has an influence on popular culture trends in Los Angeles. Although the development of Islam in Los Angeles is very rapid, it does not mean that the Muslim community in this city does not face challenges. One of the biggest challenges still faced is the negative stigma that still sticks to Islam, especially after various global events that are often associated with Muslims. Islamophobia is still an issue faced by many Muslims in Los Angeles, especially those who wear Islamic attributes such as the hijab or beard. Many of them still feel discrimination in the workplace, school, or even in their social environment. In addition, there is also the challenge of maintaining faith in the midst of the big hikah that is Sur and Maud in Los Angeles. Carrying out consistent worship in a city full of this is not an easy thing. Many young Muslims face the problem of continuing to value Islam or conforming to the more liberal Western hygiene. The Muslim community in Los Angeles continues the strength of the younger generation and the end of the tire and availability of halal food in several public facilities, including schools and offices. The understanding of this is that the Los Angeles city government has also begun to embrace the Muslim community by holding various interfaith events aimed at building understanding and tolerance between religious communities. This is a major force in building a more inclusive city. With the rapid growth of Muslims and the increasing influence of Islam in social and cultural life in Los Angeles, a big question arises. Can this city really become the largest Islamic city in America? If you look at the number of Muslims that continues to increase and how Islam is increasingly accepted in various levels of society, it is not impossible that, in the next few decades, Los Angeles could become one of the largest Islamic centers in the United States and perhaps even the Western world as a whole. However, of course, there are still many challenges that must be faced. In addition to maintaining the growth of the Muslim community, greater efforts are also needed to educate the public about Islam so that there are no more misunderstandings that cause discrimination or prejudice against Muslims. With the increasing number of Muslims who are active in various fields of life in Los Angeles, as well as the support of the government and the wider community, the hope of seeing Los Angeles as the largest Islamic city in America is not something impossible. Now the question is back to us. What is our role in supporting the development of Islam in Los Angeles and around the world? Can we contribute to spreading the peaceful message of Islam and building a stronger community? Let's continue this discussion in the next section. Along with the growth of the Muslim population in Los Angeles, certain areas have begun to emerge that are known as centers of the Muslim community. If previously Muslims were spread across various regions without a special center, now several districts in Los Angeles are beginning to develop into environments that have stronger Islamic characteristics. One of the areas known as the center of the Muslim community is the South Los Angeles area, where many mosques, Islamic schools, halal restaurants, and Muslim cultural centers have sprung up. In this area, the atmosphere of daily life increasingly reflects the nuances of Islam. In the morning, many Muslim families take their children to Islamic schools, while local business owners run their businesses in accordance with Sharia principles, such as selling halal food and not serving alcoholic beverages. Some restaurants in this area even implement a concept similar to food stalls in Muslim countries, where customers can eat together at a large table and share togetherness in the spirit of Islamic brotherhood. Not only in business and education aspects, but also in social life, the Muslim community in this district is getting closer. Every weekend, mosques in Los Angeles hold various activities, ranging from Islamic studies to language classes, Arabic, to social events involving non-Muslim residents to introduce Islam more deeply. This reflects how Los Angeles is starting to have pockets of Muslim communities that are getting stronger and more influential. Even some areas in Los Angeles are now starting to be nicknamed Little Arabia or Little Mecca because they have a high concentration of Muslim residents. In these places, daily life is almost like life in Muslim countries, with figures selling Muslim clothing, Islamic book figures who provide various Islamic literature, and mosques that are always busy with various religious activities. But even though this development is very positive for the Muslim community, there are still challenges in ensuring that these areas remain inclusive and not isolated from the wider community. Muslim community leaders in Los Angeles continue to try to connect with the unit to ensure that the existence of this Muslim community is not only a place for Muslims to gather, but also as a center for preaching that can provide benefits for the entire community. The role of Muslim women in the development of Islam in Los Angeles also cannot be ignored. Unlike the stigma that is often attached to the media about Muslim women being oppressed, Muslim women in Los Angeles are actively involved in various fields, from academics, business, and politics to the entertainment world. They not only maintain their Islamic identity with pride, but also contribute to strengthening the position of the Muslim community in America. One real example is the increasing number of Muslim women involved in social and religious organizations in Los Angeles. They founded a foundation that helps the poor, initiated women's empowerment programs, and built networks for fellow Muslim women to support each other in their careers and personal lives. In the academic world, many Muslim lecturers and professors teach at renowned universities in Los Angeles, such as UCLA and USC. They not only teach general subjects, but also introduce Islamic perspectives in academic discussions. They help shape a broader understanding of Islam among non-Muslim students. In the business world, more and more Muslim women are successful. They establish their own companies, especially in the halal fashion and beauty industry. They create modern and stylish Muslim clothing lines that attract the attention of not only Muslim women, but also non-Muslim women who are looking for more modest and elegant clothing alternatives. Some Muslim fashion brands have now begun to enter the mainstream industry and have been introduced at major fashion events in Los Angeles. This proves that Muslim women in Los Angeles are not only contributing to building their own communities, but also playing a role in shaping a more modern and inclusive face of Islam in America. Los Angeles is known as a city that is often the center of various social movements and human rights advocacy. In the midst of these various movements, the Muslim community has also taken an active role in fighting for social justice and minority rights. In recent years, many Muslim organizations have been involved in anti-racism movements, protecting immigrant rights, and campaigns against Islamophobia. Muslim communities in Los Angeles have taken part in the actions of African communities to dialogue with other communities, creating a space for people to understand Islam and how Islamic values align with the struggle against social injustice. Muslim communities are also active in environmental movements. They have begun to apply the concept of sustainable living and green energy in various community development projects. More and more Muslims in Los Angeles are realizing that Islam is not just about ritual worship, but also about how they can benefit the environment and their communities. By getting involved in these social movements, Islam is increasingly recognized not only as a religion, but also as a value system that is relevant to the challenges of the modern era. The need for Islamic education in the Muslim population is also increasing. Los Angeles now has dozens of Islamic schools spread across districts, ranging from elementary to secondary levels. These schools offer a curriculum that combines general academic education with Islamic teachings.